I'm Rachel Lancaster. I'm the founder of the Mutton Club, an online hub and global community for women in midlife and beyond. And I'm also the founder of our signature membership program called Mutton Mastery. And it's great to have you join me for the third part in my free workshop series, Midlife Jumpstart. In this workshop, I'm going to outline the exact blueprint that will help you map out how you can begin to really jumpstart your midlife and beyond. So if you've ever wondered how all the pieces of thriving in midlife fit together, and more importantly, what goes into creating massive momentum, then this workshop is for you. Maybe you're feeling lost and lacking in confidence and you're not really sure where to turn. Or you're feeling much more comfortable than you have for a while, but there's something niggling, you're not maybe as fulfilled as you'd like to be. Then stick with me because you're going to learn lots in this workshop. I'm going to show women in midlife, I'm going to show how women in midlife like you and me can map out how to begin really thriving. So it's been a busy week already, and Susie has been here for all three, so this is the third one that you're here for, so thank you very much, Susie. And Laurelie, hello Laurelie, good to see you. I know you caught certainly two. Did you catch one as well? So anyway, in workshop 1, if you didn't catch it, we talked about how now is the right time to get inspired and leap off that midlife hamster wheel, the one that just goes round and round and round, but you don't get anywhere. So you can have more of a sense of direction and purpose in what you do every day. And I shared my experience of early menopause at 41 and how I went on a journey of self-discovery to get my mojo back. And that fundamentally, self-belief is what really made the difference for me and how that allowed me to jumpstart my midlife. I talked about why I set up the Mutton Club and why I'm so very passionate about changing the prevailing narrative about midlife women and getting the message out there that midlife is far from the end of meaningful life. It's when it starts to get really interesting, trust me. We talked about how one of the biggest challenges for women in midlife is getting or staying fit, according to our poll. And we talked about simple ways to immediately get exercise and more self-care into our lives so that it becomes habitual, so that we get used to doing it every day. Then in video number 2, we covered the first step to take so that you can really start believing in yourself and move ahead to personal growth. I showed you how to break free of negative thinking and limited beliefs. We looked at how to start challenging ageism, both in society and with ourselves, and looked at some simple ways to bring about a shift in perception about what it means to be an older woman. Now, you know what? I'm going to take a little break now because I can hear my heater in the corner keeps dinging. And I don't want to be having a hot flush on camera. So I think just bear with me. I'm going to go and turn off my heater and hopefully it'll stop making that annoying little dinging noise. I'm back. So forgive me for that. It's going to ding for a bit longer until it cools down. It's a very annoying heater. So then in video 2, we looked at how, without limiting beliefs and the constraints of day-to-day life, it's actually very possible to dream big and to identify what is most important for us. And then take bits of maybe that big dream and chunk it down and make them much more manageable and attainable. We looked at techniques of visualization and affirmation as tools to help change our ingrained beliefs. So we've covered a lot this week already. So if you haven't seen those workshops, you may want to stop this one now and go and watch them, or else watch them when this one is over, your choice. But do go and watch them because there is lots of meaty stuff in there. And I have a wonderful little tool called the Video Speed Controller. It's an extension for Chrome. And if you download that and put it into Chrome, you can watch videos at 1.5 speed or 2 times speed. So you can speed anything up, any online video, you can speed them up. I love it. I use it all the time. So you can listen to me talking like this. You can speed me up and have a giggle. So, and get through the material more quickly. So, okay, I'm going to have a look and see. Oh goodness, excuse me if I don't get your name right. Deanira? Is that right? Deyanira Gottwald? What a lovely name. And you say, hola from Indiana. Hola back. Good to see you. Hello. And Laurelie says, the rocking chair exercise helped me. That's lovely to hear, Laurelie. I'm pleased. It's powerful stuff, isn't it? There's another one that I did on a workshop last year about a desert island. So maybe I'll do that next time. But I got it right, did I? Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Deyanira. So yeah, I think that for me, there's a real feeling that, you know, time is not a limitless commodity. I don't have a limitless amount of time, and procrastination is not an option. I have to get on with whatever it is that I want to do. So in today's workshop, I'm going to build on what we've already discussed by giving you the complete blueprint to map out how to begin really thriving in midlife and beyond. By the end of this workshop, you'll have so much clarity about how to jumpstart your midlife and keep momentum going. And hopefully you'll see how everything fits together. I'm also going to share with you what you might want to include in your own midlife toolkit. And once you use this, you'll never have to worry about getting stuck again. This will help you break free of that frustration and is key in helping you get clarity on what you need to focus on to start living life your way, so you can experience more of a sense of direction and purpose in everything that you do. So we have a lot to cover today, so you may want to have a pen and paper ready so you can take notes as you follow along. So anytime you try and make big changes, it can be hard. I know that it can be really tricky. Because in the beginning, everything's new, isn't it? You know, things like menopausal hormone changes suddenly impacting your day-to-day life, and you have to, you know, rethink the way you live even. Perhaps you need to modify your diet just to stay on top form, because as we get older, you know, we need different things in our diet and less of it, unfortunately. And then the role reversal of having to increasingly care for older parents, perhaps, maybe as well as kids. Or if you're a bit further on in the process, coping with an empty nest. That's certainly what I'm doing this year. And then maybe not having kids and feeling unsure of what you're supposed to be and do at this stage of life when everybody else, you know, continues to have their life focused on kids. So, and then there's the challenge of trying to stay relevant both at home and at work. And you can see that as you grow, you're going to come up against new challenges. There are always new challenges, aren't there? Even if you have experience with making positive change already, you're always looking for the 80-20. You don't have time to waste. So you want to find the 20% that's going to produce 80% of the results. Am I right? That's why the 5 steps to mutton mastery is going to save you a lot of time. That's the name of my blueprint. And this is the blueprint that you need to map out where you are in the process of mutton mastery and how you can begin to really thrive. So now I am going to give you a link, and I'm going to put it in the comments, and then I'm going to pin it, I hope. Is it going to come up and let me pin? Yes, it is. Yay. So that's where you can get your own copy of this document that we're going to look at. But I'm going to share my screen now, if I can make it all work. Crikey. So I'm going to try and share my screen so that you can actually see the document. So again, bear with me again. Share screen. That's the screen. And then there will be a bit of a delay, I know, until I can see it. Da, 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 da. Can you see it yet? Can you see it? No, you can't, can you? Come on, come on. Ta-da! There it is. Yay! Can you see it? Tell me if you can see it. Can you see the 5 steps to mutton mastery? Now, there's a lot of content on this sheet, so don't go reading it all now. I'm gonna give you the 20% that you need. I'm going to give you the overview. But also, you might want to make the live stream big. So you might want to put it onto full screen so that you can see some of the detail. Laurelie says yes, so I'm guessing you can see it. Is that all right? Yeah, you can see it. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so, but you can also, click the link and download your own copy of the 5 Steps to Mutton Mastery. So let's get rolling. But it might be a bit overwhelming, so don't dive in completely, but I will give you an overview of what works, so that I'll walk you through the 20%, but hopefully we'll give you the 80% of the results. So first off, let's explain what I mean by Mutton Mastery. It's our membership program, and I'm very, very excited about it. It really is becoming something absolutely wonderful. And our blueprint has 5 steps to Mutton Mastery. So you could be at any one of these 5 stages, and you could be at one stage in one aspect of your life, and in another with another stage of your life. So, for example, I might be approaching Mutton Mastery in my acceptance of getting older. I think I probably am. But, I might be getting clarity in terms of my overall level of fitness, So this is a dynamic process. It's not a process that has an end in mind. So you don't get to be a Mutton Master on the right-hand side, and then you don't have to do anything ever again. But what does it mean to be a master mutton? So it's all about being comfortable with who you are and what you're doing, not letting age define you, while also pursuing continual growth in your life. It's about feeling inspired, fulfilled and empowered to deal with life's challenges and opportunities. So if you're a mutton master, then hopefully, what I'm hoping is that your first instinct is to celebrate aging rather than being fearful of it. And it's also about being able to inspire others to feel confident about their own journey too. So mutton masters are probably out in the world leading by example and doing great things, but not necessarily. After all, it's your perceptions that matter. And it's not about perfection, it's about growth, continual growth. It's not a process with an end to it. We all keep doubling back. But a mutton master knows the importance of maintaining and topping up your midlife toolkit. More on that a bit later. And having the support of a sisterhood, the Mutton Mastery flock. So has anybody been able to download it? Have you tried? Is it working? Let me know in the comments if you're able to download it. I hope so. Because that should make it perhaps a bit easier to see the whole thing. So at the other end of our Mutton Mastery blueprint, at the beginning on the left-hand side, is the stage of questioning, when you're probably feeling rather lost and wondering what's next in your life. And at this stage, you may be juggling lots of responsibilities and feeling a bit overwhelmed with it all. Kids, older parents, work, etc., menopause symptoms. Maybe you're feeling invisible and apprehensive about the future. But you want things to change, you just don't know how to do it. And if you're at this stage in your Mutton Mastery journey, then boosting your confidence and self-belief is key to moving forward. In terms of action, I would want you to commit to doing the work required to make change happen in your life. That's all at this stage. Then we have 3 other stages in the journey, from questioning to Mutton Mastery, and those are about getting clarity, where you're evaluating possibilities and establishing your baseline for growth, exploring when you're developing your life plan and creating that toolkit that's so personal to you, and transforming when all the hard work you've done so far enables you to experience a real shift in your life path and begin to see real transformation on your way to Mutton Mastery. You could be at any stage in this journey and still able to get real value from the process. So what do you need to consider on your path? Well, that depends on you, but some of the things you may want to consider relate to what matters to all women over 40. We did a survey in the Mutton Club and a poll in our private group, The Flock, too, and both of those pointed to getting and staying fit as being one of the top 2 most important challenges for women over 40. Financial security is also very important, and that's not something that I can talk to, but I am trying to source people within the community who will be able to give us all advice on that. So in our longer survey, we described the getting fit as health and well-being. So it's a catch-all for sorting out your diet, your mental health, your emotional resilience, your physical fitness. So when you're questioning, getting clarity and exploring what works for you, you'll certainly want to consider what you're eating and drinking, how happy you feel about life, whether you're anxious about the future, how easily you bounce back from setbacks, and whether you can still run or walk very fast for the bus without getting out of breath. For women in midlife, health and well-being includes balancing your hormones as you transition through menopause, making sure your diet is the best it can be and is going to support you long term, making sure you get enough exercise and the right kind of exercise, and making sure you're mentally strong and secure to face the challenges that life loves to throw at us, and which do not get any fewer the older we get, do they? So, Susie says you've got it. Okay, brilliant. So what does anybody think of it? Well, does this make sense, what I'm saying? No, I'm sort of chucking this at you, the 5 steps, but do you sense where you might be in that process? Is there something that jumps out at you immediately? I know, in terms of, if you look at my life journey over the last 10 years, when the early menopause hit at 41, I was definitely in the questioning. I was completely lost, and I spent a long time there being lost and struggling and juggling all my responsibilities, and prioritizing me was just way down on the list, because I just didn't, I was trying to keep my head above water, really. But then, slowly I have moved through, and as I say, there's certain areas of my life where I'm at one stage and certain areas where I'm at another stage. So does it make, Laurie says, this makes total sense. Some areas I'm clear, others not. Oh, good. I'm glad. So how good is so this is, I think, an opportunity for us to reevaluate our health and well-being in midlife, because it is fundamental to thriving in midlife and beyond, as I talked about in workshop 1. And just getting through menopause itself can be a challenge, can't it? So how good is your health and well-being? Tell me in the comments. Are there any obvious areas where you could make changes, do you think? And then up second in our list of most important things that matter to women over 40 is following our passions. And I was really pleased about that, because that has been, as I've said before, has been massive for me. But so many of us put it on the back burner, don't we? We're everything to everybody else, and we don't necessarily think about, fulfilling and pursuing our own passions. So I like to think of midlife as a time when we actually we can think about, what is it that I want? And I never gave myself time to even think about what my passions might be. I was just too busy keeping everything afloat and trying to earn enough money to keep a roof over my head. So in the previous workshops, I encouraged you to try to dream big. And if that's too overwhelming, then to chunk down that extreme into more manageable elements. But, anything is possible. If you believe, if you have self-belief, anything is possible. And doing things we love is incredibly important to our general well-being, and at least some of our passions should be in our toolkit. So when I talk about the midlife toolkit, it could be that you love baking. So you have a regular, you bake a cake once a week, and that's in your midlife toolkit. So simple things like that. It doesn't have to be anything massive. And it doesn't need to cost lots of money either. There are small things that we can do every day to make sure we're tapping into what makes us tick and helping us to feel the way we want to feel. If you've ever experienced the work of Danielle Laporte, she does some great things on the desire map and working out, what we need to do day to day to feel the way we want to feel, and how do we want to feel, and actually analysing that. So I know from personal experience that finally devoting time to following my own passion through setting up the Mutton Club, my online magazine, has been like a huge shot in the arm. I just love it now. I can work all hours of the day and night because it doesn't feel like work to me anymore. I'm so lucky. I just absolutely love it. I'd like to make a bit more money off it because it is quite an expensive hobby sometimes, but I love it, and that's the important thing. I just get so much pleasure out of it. So how much do you have that you're passionate about in your life? Do you know what passion you'd like to follow if you're not doing so yet? Did the Dream Big exercise in workshop 2, if you've already done that, did it help you to get clear on any of that? Tell me in the comments what passion you would like to get back into your life or start in your life, and what you'd like to do with that. So going back to financial security, the long-term long-term financial security, which you can see is pretty major on the what matters to women 40 plus on the chart. Do you have a pension, for example? I know retirement simply isn't an option for many people, and I don't think it is for me. I think I'll carry on working forever. But it's something we all put off, isn't it? And often we don't have a good handle on what our finances are even. So, you know, if you have debt, it's a good time of life to start getting rid of that debt. It's good to know what your pension situation is. If you have a pension, what is it invested in? Do you know what it's invested in? Do you know what its performance has been like over the last 12 months? If you don't, then probably need to take some time to find out. Susie says, my passion is for helping people live their best lives right now. Yeah, me too. You and me both. That's what I want to do. It's wonderful. I love it. So anyway, just going back to finance, we definitely need to consider financial security on our mastery journey. And next up, we have career and work, which if we're able to combine with following our passions, and also with number 6 on our list, finding purpose, then we have the perfect blissful scenario of life, right? I'm working on that one still, but not many of us have it, do we? Work can be such a tricky area in midlife and beyond. It's where that nasty combination of sexism and ageism can be at its most insidious and very, very difficult for many women in midlife. Certainly women who've been in a job for a long time or are trying to change jobs, goodness me, changing jobs is really, really challenging. So, and as we age, work seems to bring up so many issues of confidence too. Many women look to younger colleagues and begin to feel insecure. Perhaps there are new systems and processes in your workplace and you struggle to keep up. Perhaps menopause symptoms are interfering with your normal working life, and maybe you're starting to feel invisible and wondering just how you can get back to feeling good at work. So work is a tricky area too, and an area that we can perhaps, devote some time to in midlife. As I've told you, I don't know what I've told you in this workshop actually, maybe, but I think I mentioned it before, that I'm very much an introvert. And I have to confess that at 40, and just before I got my early menopause diagnosis, I walked away from corporate life because I just found it too difficult. So this is me in my girl cave here. This is my office in the garden, and I just love it. It's wonderful. So it wasn't necessarily because of my age, although it was certainly beginning to dawn on me that I was a bit too long in the tooth to be dealing with all the crap I encountered on a daily basis. But I was lucky to have skills I could transfer to a freelance career, so I became an independent consultant and writer. And it was a big initial step, but luckily it paid off. So how happy are you in your work life? Tell me in the comments. Do you like what you do? Are you doing something completely different now? Would you like to be doing something completely different? Are you wondering how you'll ever get back into the workplace after a long gap? Or have you simply had enough of the whole shebang? I think the older we get, the more important it is to do something that we love, isn't it? Something that makes a difference, that makes us fulfilled, that is meaningful, that has purpose. Crucial, out the whole purpose thing. So in this workshop series, we've been talking about how we don't have limitless time, and the older we get, the less time there is for procrastination. So if we still need to be earning money, having some sort of plan to make career and work a happy place to be should definitely be in our steps to mutton mastery. So the other matters of importance to women 40 plus, again on the left-hand side of our chart, making sure they sustain us rather than drain us. Relationships, that is. Style, perfecting our style so it works for us and delights us so we feel empowered to take on the world. And caring, as so many of us continue to have caring roles, even if our traditional ones are less. In fact, many of us may end up doing more caring in midlife and beyond than we ever have before. Are you in that position? Are you tied? Not tied, but are you caught perhaps in the middle of caring for different people? And finally, the last one on our list, but by no means least, is leaving a legacy. And I don't mean how much money we leave in our will, for example. I mean there the impact that we leave potentially on our friends, our family, our community, or even the world. I guess it all comes back to finding purpose, doesn't it? So I'm going to close down. I'm going to stop the sharing now, and I'll come back to you on the big screen and see if I can work out how to do this. So how do I stop share? Stop share. You got me back? What I think is also happening though is that it's on autofocus. I should have turned that off because that can be very annoying when I move around. So now I'm going to move that back over there. Is this working? Oh yes, you got me back. Yay! So what did you think? Laurelie says, I'm looking for a job. Yeah. Oh yes, you said, didn't you? And you were worried about age discrimination. Is that right, Laurelie? If I remembered that correctly. Susie says, I love what I do. Well, that's great. Good for you, Susie. Looks like you're already well into your mutton mastery journey, aren't you? That's brilliant. Well done. So that was some top level thoughts for how to use the 5 stages to mutton mastery blueprint. You can download it and have another look and have another think. Use it to see, you know, where you are in the process and where you might want to be going. And this blueprint has very much been my life journey over the last decade. I would never, ever call myself a mutton master, but I'm closer to that now than I've ever been. I think I feel more secure in myself. I feel more confident. I feel that what I'm doing in life is what I'm meant to be doing. So I have had that niggle about, you know, shouldn't I be doing something else or something more? And I feel I'm doing that now. And it excites me. It delights me, which is, I'm very happy. It's great. So, but, you know, in some areas, I'm not so good at all. So I will definitely, I keep, you know, going around the process, going backwards and forwards. So, and I've questioned everything about myself and my life since my early menopause diagnosis. It was kind of a kickstart for all of that questioning. And I now know what's important to me. I've got very clear on what my priorities are. And I've completely changed my midlife script, my own internal narrative. And I know what my strengths are through having done online tests that tell me. And luckily for me, those match perfectly with what I'm doing now. If only I'd known that 30 years ago. I wish I hadn't wasted so much time. I've explored all sorts of new things, some I like, some I don't, and I'm now very proactive about building the kind of life I want. I'm still exploring. There is so much I still want to learn. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. So I keep circling back through the 5 stages of mutton mastery. And yes, I've seen a real transformation, and I want that for you too. Let's do a quick review of what we've covered today. We've seen how there are potentially 5 steps in every woman's midlife journey. We've looked at what the most important things are for us women over 40 and how those can fit into the mutton mastery success path. That's what I call my 5 stages. Isn't it easier how seeing how everything fits together? And most importantly, does it feel good knowing that what you should focus on right now, regardless of where you are in your journey? Do you see how this could help you get clarity on where you need to focus on to start living life your way, easier and faster? So tell me in the comments what you think, whether you've had any aha moments looking at this. I know there's a bit of a delay, so I'll carry on, but then I'll come back. And I will circle back through the comments. So if you're watching on the replay, or live, you know, just ask away and ask after the live event, and I will come back through the comments and check them all and try and respond to you. So now that you've got those wheels turning, I want to hear from you. I hope you've picked up a lot of ideas from this video, and now's the time to get started. So let me know what your first step will be. Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, others will too. So please give someone a hand by sharing this video on Facebook, Twitter, or sending the link to a friend or tagging them in the comments, whatever, if you think they'd benefit from seeing this too. Because giving the gift of courage and inspiration is contagious. We all have the ability to change the world, whether that be your world or someone else's. So on Sunday, I'm going to be back for part 4. Can you believe it? Another workshop. And in the next workshop, I'm going to show you how to implement what you've learned today, easier and faster. So if you're feeling lost and lacking confidence, this lays out the exact plan so you can get clarity on what you need to focus on. And if you're feeling more comfortable than you have in a while, but you're still not really fulfilled, you'll build on what you've already created by following specific steps designed to get you past what's holding you back, so you get on track and reach your goals. And speaking of getting clarity on what you need to focus on, you may have questions about the Mutton Mastery program, and I'd love to see you in there. In the next workshop, I'll talk more about the program and how you can join. The way it works is that I'm going to open the full program to the general public on a very limited basis. We're doing this so it runs similar to a college class where we all go through the program together. So registration will open for a few days and then it closes, and it won't be open for a while after that. And that's so that I can create space for our new members and I can concentrate on them while also delivering, the great content within the membership. So if you're interested in moving forward and you want to know how, you'll want to join me in the next video, in the next workshop where I'm going to lay it all out for you. And I'd love for you to help me build this amazing program and global network of fabulous midlife women. We already have the most incredible women in the program, and it just delights me. We're just building this incredible network, and women are seeing real transformation already. We only launched it in November, so it's quite new, but it's very, very exciting, and people are seeing real progress, real momentum, and putting in place things that are exciting them in the way that I get excited too. So it's fantastic. And it's like-minded women coming together to support each other, to determine and promote positive change in our lives. That's pretty cool, right? So for now, I want to leave you with this. Let me just actually know, before I do that, I will just check the comments. Susie says, I love the 80-20 rule. Very powerful. It is, isn't it? Yeah. But that's the whole point of, one, the blueprint, and two, the program. That I suppose, this took me so long to work out. It took me years to get myself sorted. So I've learned from that, and I know what's going to help and what isn't going to help. And of course, everybody's unique and different, aren't they? But I think we have a lot of things in common, and the midlife transition that we go through, for a lot of us, can be very similar. We go through similar sorts of issues. So just by taking part in this workshop series, you're already closer to knowing how to get clarity on what you need to focus on to start living life your way. Think about workshop 1, where you learned how to get inspired and leap off that midlife hamster wheel. This training alone has shown you how to have more of a sense of direction and purpose in what you do. And it's amazing how simple it can be once you have the steps. Then you made big strides in workshop 2, where you saw how to embrace who you really are and move ahead to personal growth by seeing how to deal with your own negative thoughts about yourself and aging. That is huge. And knowing this will continue to pay off from now and into the future. And today you've got the complete blueprint, so you can map out how to begin really thriving in midlife and beyond. Isn't it easier understanding every step along the way? To make it even better, we cut to the chase so you know exactly what gives you bigger results faster and with less demand on you. In just a few days, you've learned so much about how to get clarity on what you need in midlife to get that midlife jumpstart that you want. And in the next workshop, I'll share the next step in your journey. I am so excited about what's in store for you. So I'll see you in the next workshop. I hope you're able to join me on Sunday night. And thank you for spending time with me. I know, time is very precious for all of us. We are all of us busy. And I really do appreciate you spending time with me. It's fantastic. So does anybody else have anything they'd like to say before I wish you a very good evening from London, but a good day if you're in other parts of the world, or if you're in Canada or in California, as I know a couple of you are. So anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Laurie says, because I'm looking for a new job at my age, I feel like I'm starting over and I feel young inside. But when I'm doing a job search, I encounter people with assumptions that you are older, so you must be slowing down. Yeah, it's so infuriating, isn't it, Laurie? I mean, this really annoys me because, I'm not slowing down. Goodness me, I'm 51 and I feel like I'm speeding up, actually. I'm achieving more now in a much shorter time than I've ever done in the past because I'm more focused. So I think, what would my advice be? I don't know, maybe you're not looking for advice, but maybe do some work on your own self-belief, and make sure that you are able to be who you actually are, you know, so that people can see who you are, you know, write in a particular, if you're, I don't know whether you're writing applications or whether this is in interviews or what it is, but make sure that they see the real you. Don't be shy, don't stand back, you know, as I have said previously, you know, stand center stage, you know, because you have masses of experience, you have wisdom, you have so much to give the world, and so much to give any employer. I mean, personally, I would struggle to have an employer now, but I don't know whether it is feasible for you to, you know, do something that doesn't require you to have an employer. Perhaps that's just not feasible for you. But yeah, I would do some work on feeling great about yourself, and then make sure that you communicate that. And don't, because the more you hold back all of that wonderfulness, you know, you're just doing yourself an injustice, really, aren't you? Because they're not going to see how fantastic you are and how amazing you are and how much they're going to want to employ you. So there you go. And Susie says, thank you for sharing your journey and your passion. Well, Susie, thank you for spending all this time with me, three nights this week already. And I hope you can join me on Sunday as well. So thank you very much. I am going to close it off now. I'm going to work out how to turn this off because it's all new technology. But it's been a pleasure, and thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye now.